Hi, and welcome back to the YWCA. This is your STAT team, and I'm Liane Hernandez.
I'm Michelle Pitot, Chief of Staff here at the YWCA.
And so, Michelle, you were recently in the Hill, so congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about how you ended up in publishing that op-ed?
So this year I've been involved in the OpEd Project, which is a national project that is working with trying to get more women's voices published. 75% of opinion pieces published in major publications are written by men. And the OpEd Project has been really effective in getting more women's voices out there, and I've been really lucky to following your footsteps as an OpEd Project person last year. To be part of that work this year and Public Voices Fellowship and doing that.
Yeah, so there's an amazing collaboration that's being done here in Tucson between the OpEd Project and the Women's Foundation and the University of Arizona. And so the cohort, instead of just being at the university, is composed of the university professors as well as half of them are from community. And so that's how we got involved. And it's been amazing. You get a year to work with your cohort as well as some instructors that really help to have these quarterly meetings and teach you the ins and outs of what it means to publish an op-ed and why it's important and why your opinion actually matters. So why did you choose this topic and the name of your piece, if you don't mind?
The name of the piece is White Fragility Will Not Protect You from Accountability.
So talk a little bit about why you chose to write about this right now.
Well, it really came from the work you and I have been doing together. Liane and I, we've been doing a lot of teaching and training around town on diversity and inclusion and how to create more inclusive workplaces and how do we address hate crimes, how do we really look at hidden and subtle ways that racism is alive and well. And as we've been doing some of these trainings, just the reactions that we've gotten. And I want to explain the term white fragility, make sure people, because that's a term that was coined by a woman, Robin DiAngelo. She's a woman who has been doing diversity training. She coined this term white fragility, which she's noticed with people of privilege who, when the topic of racism comes up, a lot of times will move into this mode of shame and guilt and this is terrible and oh my God, this is so awful and and really taking the attention back to themselves away from the issue at hand and really diverting it from this place of, oh, this is too hard for me to talk about, of fragility.
And in the piece you talk a little bit about the dichotomy and the dichotomous relationship between this idea of good and this idea of bad. And how that the shades of gray are really difficult because of that. So you want to talk a little bit about your just ideas around good and bad and how people get stuck in those definitions and ideas.
Well, I was really struck by the whole controversy about Bill Maher and the statement that he made that people called him on it. And then people came to his defense saying, you know, Bill Maher's one of the good guys. He doesn't have a racist bone in his body. Is one of the articles that was written, and it just really brought home to me the idea that people have this very either-or idea about racism, and racism is bad. And if you're a good person, you can't be racist. And I just really feel like we have to take that apart and take the good and bad away from it. Because whether you're a good person or a bad person, whatever your ethnicity is, actually, we've all grown up in this culture which places people in positions of privilege based on skin color, ethnicity, wealth, socioeconomic status, and we are all affected by that. There's just no way we can't be.
So, you know, I know that the comments on the piece have been really difficult, and I applaud you for reading them initially, and please don't read them anymore.
I stopped. You made me stop. I stopped.
It's not helpful for you to read them, I don't think. But
it was helpful though.
Yeah, was it?
At first I get these comments, and the Hill, I mean, maybe I haven't been reading it that long because I understand historically it can go one way or the other.
Sure.
But it seems to be more left-leaning to me
Mhm.
when I would read the coverage in the Hill.
Mhm.
And so I didn't anticipate just the hatred. So I didn't expect the comments to be that negative. I didn't expect to be called some of the names that I was called. And yet it was, I read them because at a certain point I was able to say, well, they're not even responding to the article at all.
Right.
This is not about me at all.
Mhm.
And they're not, and then on another level, what I was reading was some comments that reflected what I believe are what some people think at the workshops that we do, but they don't say it.
Okay.
And
For
I'm
instance?
very committed to reaching those people.
Okay.
The people who are good and don't have a racist bone in their body.
So what's your hope that folks will read this, and what would be the next thing that folks would do? What was your hope? What was your intention? And we'll look at the impact, right?
Well, yeah, my intention was really to start this conversation more with the good folks, with really have the conversation with people who are in circles of wanting to make a difference and yet still not being inclusive.
Right.
Because I mean, you look at the women's movement. The women's movement is far from inclusive. You know, you look at just various movements. They haven't been inclusive. They make these blanket statements about this is true for women, and really, it's true for white women. It's not necessarily true. And I'm really committed to doing. Right now, we're in this moment in history where there's so many people who look at all the women that showed up for the marches. And it's months ago, but there's a lot of conversations still going on. People that haven't been that vocal and like, let's do it differently this time.
Right.
Let's do it in a way that all voices are being heard.
Right. And
some heard less and some heard more.
Right. Well, thank you so much for writing the piece. I think it's really evocative, and I think I will be really curious to see what folks out there in the interwebs think about it. So thank you for sharing
Liane,
your
and
thoughts.
thanks for always motivating me to keep moving forward
absolutely.
with this. You are a
Back
great
at ya.
role model.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank
thanks.
you. So thanks, YWers. I hope that this is helpful. I hope it'll spark some conversation and let us know how ideas around white fragility, intersection, and just racism in general are impacting your work. So thank you. Have a great day.